Weather Defence is an external sheathing board, which is now often used instead of cement particle board. It's made from gypsum and has a water-resistant liner. It has been around since 2013, and a second-generation version launched in 2017, which can now be left exposed on frame for up to 6 months. The big benefit is that it's easy to cut, and therefore fast to install. This video will show you how to install Weather Defence correctly, looking at products, installation, best practice, and board inspection. First, let's take a look at the products you'll need. The Weather Defence board. Special G-Tech wet area screws. These are for external use and have a salt spray resistant coating. And you'll need to seal the joints either with fire-rated sealant silicone or with Weather Defence joint tape, which can be used instead of silicone sealant in all other systems. To cut Weather Defence, you use a Stanley knife or similar. In most cases, boards are installed horizontally in a staggered brick bond pattern. But if necessary, boards can be installed vertically to suit window openings and sizes. Place screws at least 13 mm and no more than 20 mm from board edges. And penetrate at least 10 mm into the substrate, or 25 mm for a timber frame. Fixed to studs at a maximum of 300 mm centres. If your project requires a higher wind loading, the fixings and studs will need to be at closer centres. Ask your project engineer about this. Use G-Tech wet area self-drilling screws for steel studs or combinations of studs up to 3 mm thick in total. Where the studs exceed 3 mm, contact Siniat Technical Services for the fixing specification. Although Weather Defence doesn't mind getting wet, separate the board from areas where water may pool by at least 5 mm. Boards should also be installed above the DPC level and 150 mm above ground level. Which sealing option you choose depends on your project requirements. Weather Defence joint tape may be used when only air and rain tightness are required. But if you also require fire and sound resistance, the Siniat fire-rated silicone sealant should be used. A silicone sealant provides a robust weather seal as it allows two boards to be squeezed together to prevent water and air leakage. As boarding progresses, apply the sealant along the previously fixed board edge before installing the next board. You should aim to create a sealant joint of approximately 2 mm when the next board is loosely butted into place. Any gaps in the sealant should be filled with additional sealant. If a screw isn't perfectly flat, seal with a dab of sealant to prevent issues with weather tightness. Remember, only use cold-applied waterproofing materials. Cold-applied sealing methods should be used to seal deflection or movement joints created in the board layer. Compatibility with silicone sealant should be checked. Weather Defence joint tape provides a high-performing air and weather-tight seal between boards and can be used instead of silicone sealant in non-fire-rated systems. Weather Defence joint tape should not be used in combination with silicone sealant. If unavoidable, use an appropriate primer over the silicone joints before applying tape. Contact Siniat Technical Services for help with the correct primer. Weather Defence joint tape can be applied any time within the 6-month exposure period. But of course, before the joints are sealed, some water may penetrate. Before application, ensure the surface is clean, dry and free of oil or dust, for example. as significant contamination will mean the tape does not adhere properly. Position the tape along the centre of the joint and peel back the backing paper as you progress. This will usually cover screw fixings. Apply the tape carefully, avoiding wrinkles or being overstretched. Firmly press and smooth down against the weather defence board. Seal horizontal joints first and run tapes for vertical joints over the top of the horizontal band of tape. Minimise the number of pieces of tape used to reduce risk of gaps. If using tape pieces is unavoidable, overlap tapes by a minimum of 50 mm and ensure they are pressed firmly against the board and fully sealed. Before covering weather defence with insulation or other cladding, and after extreme weather, we advise you to inspect the boards to ensure that they are free from damage. We advise paying particular attention to any areas where multiple attempts have been made to fix a screw in case it has created a hole, any facer damage greater than 5 mm, any damage to the board core greater than 2 mm deep which may have inadvertently been immersed in water, any significant dents, scrapes or tears which have occurred during the construction. Small areas of damage up to 15 by 15 mm and a maximum of 3 mm deep may be corrected using Siniat fire-rated silicone sealant or weather defence joint tape. Any damage which is up to 300 by 300 mm and a maximum of 5 mm deep may be resolved by filling with Siniat Aquamix water-resistant compound. If any damage is larger than an area of 300 by 300 mm, or if the board has been perforated, then this board must be replaced. Additional metal noggins or straps may be required to support the new board. Where water tightness is critical, we recommend a detailed inspection and hose testing to ensure a complete seal has been achieved. Weather defence should be stored on site in dry, flat conditions. It should not be used as a platform or deck because it will not support body weight. So it's important to use an independent support mechanism. As weather defence has a gypsum core, offcuts are fully recyclable. If you need any more information about weather defence, please contact your Siniat representative or call our Technical Services Department on 0800 145 6033.